Hello. This video is about the loan calculation lab, and so we are calculating equal payment without using the equal payment equation. So there is one, equal payment equation that we can use, that directly to find out the value for the equal payment if we know the present value, present was. Well, for this lab, we are using Excel to build a model to help us, do this equal payment calculation, because in the future we are calculating a project or to make certain decisions. You will need to develop similar Excel models for engineering economy calculations. All right, so the major problem here is if we know the present value, which is a P here, and we know the interest rate and know how many periods you want to pay it back, and then to find out what is the equal payment, right? So for each period, for example, if I want to get a loan for for a car, and I'll pay it back with 5 years, right? And the equal payment will be each month. Then you know the annual interest rate, and now you know the present value of the car, and you'll find out what is how much do you need to pay for each month. The same thing applies to your mortgage. All right. So first of all, we need to know that what is this present value. So we can use the P, variable P, to represent that. Say for example, the present value is $10,000, and the interest rate for the annual interest rate, right? Annual interest rate, let's put it as 3%. Okay, 3% of interest rate. And now we want to find out, okay, what is what is M, right? What is M here? So this is the equation for calculating the M. We know P, we know I, we know how many periods. Now, next thing is to find out what is M. So it should be pretty straightforward, right? Because for each part, the M is always the same. And now, in order for us to calculate M, we just need to use P divided by the sum, right? So all these 1 plus I, minus 1 plus I to the power minus 2, and 1 plus I to the power of negative M added up all together, right? Then we can find out what is M. So now the question, because we need to know the value for each one of those. 1 plus I to the power of negative 1, what is this value? 1 plus I to the power of negative 2, what is the value? We can do a very simple Excel calculation here. For example, I'll use N. Here I'll put an N, so which means this is the number of period. How many periods? This is something you need to understand, that we want to pay it back within 5 years, but we are paying the loan every month. So which means that you actually paid it back with 60 months, right? 60 periods. So that's why here you will need to create 60 periods: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you can actually drag it here until you get 60. All right, now we have 60 here. Then here we want to find out what is this value for 1 plus I to the power of negative 1, right? And say this is a 1 plus I to the power of negative I. Sorry, negative N. Okay, so this will be the value. Now what we want to do is to put the equation here. All right, say 1 plus. All right, now this is the tricky part, is that the I here, right? So interest rate, what we get is 3%. This is annual interest rate, but because we are paying back with the 60 periods, so what we should use is interest rate that for each period, right? We have 60 period, which is monthly. Now we know the annual interest rate. We need to find out what is monthly interest rate. in order to do that, we can do a very simple conversion here. Say use 3% or use this I here, or we can do the conversion here. We use say 3%, which is annual equation divided by 12, right? How many periods within a year? 12. I can use this to have a closer estimation of the monthly interest rate. Divided by 12, then we probably want to make it have more decimals, say 4 decimals. Now this is what we get, right? This is the percentage we get. And then next, what we need to do is to type our equation, say 1 plus interest rate, which is this one. And we want to make it fixed because later we need to drag it to other cells. Now we're going to use this symbol to make it fixed, okay? And then to the power of what? To the power of negative. Remember, the reason it's negative is because we are converting cash flows from future to back to present. So that's why it's negative. And then which negative? Negative this n, right? We just put this value here. Now we get this equation. All right, so next one to do is to drag it into the 60s, right, 60. And we got all these values. So what do we do next? We know each one single of those. Now we need to do the calculation, right? Find out what is M. M equals to what? Use P, right, which is the present value, $10,000. We use this divided by what? Divided by the sum of all these values, right? The sum of all these values, 60 values. And now we can see what is the amount of money that you need to pay, right? For each month, and over 60 periods, right? 60 periods. All right, so this is how we can build a simple model to it. Well, if you want to validate that if this value is correct or not, actually you can use some online calculators to check your answer. I can also show it to you here. For example, this is say this auto loan calculator. We can put $10,000, right? $10,000, 60 months, and annual interest rate is 3%. We just keep all the others to be 0 for now, and then do the calculation. And here you will get a value of 179.69. Now let's look at our equation, 179.6869, which is 1 point. It's the same value, right? All right, so this is how you can build a simple Excel model to calculate equal payment.